Good morning. It's Sunday, August 15th. This is probably one of the worst weeks that we have had in recent memory. The situation in Afghanistan has just spiraled out of control. Some thousands of people who helped us while we were trying to help them achieve some form of democracy, I guess I'll call it, have been left behind. We can't get them out of the country and out of the hands of the Taliban. And there is no question about it that those people's lives are in grave danger. And who are we going to blame for that? Can we blame Joe Biden for leaving after being there 20 years? Should we blame George Bush for getting us involved in this thing in the first place? Should we blame Obama and his administration because they continued the farce? Do we blame Donald Trump because he didn't pull us out early enough? Do we blame the Taliban who lied throughout the negotiations and everything? Do we blame the Afghans for not being able to learn how to defend themselves or refusing to defend themselves? Spend 20 years trying to teach them how to fight for naught. So it's very distressing when you look out and you see a beautiful sun shining and we should be marching off to the beach or something like that. But we can't because we have another thing raging at our shores here. The pandemic is on the loose. The pandemic is up over 700% since the beginning of June or some number like that because of the new variant, Delta and now Lambda. And who do we blame for that? Can we blame all of those anti-vaxxers? Can we blame the little children who we haven't been able to develop a vaccine for? Or the teenagers who didn't get vaccinated fast enough? Can we blame any of those people? Can we blame the governors of the states who refuse to issue a mask mandate? Do we blame the people who have rights and they refuse to get vaccinated? Can we blame those who are sick and can't afford to get vaccinated or put their life in danger by being vaccinated? And worst of all, can we blame the parents who refuse to have their children wear masks in schools? There are so many different people to blame. So many different entities to blame. It's mind-boggling that a great country like ours, maybe not so great anymore, that a great country like ours can't come together and recognize the fact that there are certain things that have to be done, and one must give up some measly right in order to save everybody. Do you really believe deep down inside that wearing a mask for a year or so is going to affect your children? Will it affect you? Only if you let it. If you recognize the fact that one must wear a mask in order to protect oneself and in order to protect all those around him. Why does that bother you so much? Do you object to wearing a seatbelt when you're driving in your car? Do you object to have a driver's license in order to drive? No. There are so many things that we do that could be considered a violation of our rights, but we accept them. We accept the fact that there's flu vaccines every single year. Did we fight back when we had to get the polio vaccination? No. So what's happened to us? And who is to blame for that? Can we blame President Roosevelt because he had the New Deal? Or Harry Truman? Maybe Harry Truman's fault because he dropped an atom bomb. It's not about blaming people. It's an excuse. Stand up. Look out. Be ready to do what has to be done for the good of not only yourself, but for the good of the humanity that lives in this country with you. So it's been a terrible, terrible week with the rise of the pandemic, which is returning almost, maybe it's even surpassed the heights that it reached before. We have hospitals bursting at the seams, ICUs that are full and creating dangerous emergency room backlogs. And they're forcing hospitals to cancel surgeries because there's too many patients with COVID running loose in this country. And on top of that, we have this total collapse in Afghanistan, which I don't know who to blame for that, but it's our fault. It's our fault for not recognizing that we really couldn't do anything in that part of the world. Try as we must. Did it take us 20 years to realize that this was a great big mistake? That we pissed away $1 trillion or so? 2,500 lives? 20,000 injured soldiers? No, there's plenty of blame to go around. But we have to look beyond that. We can't look to blame people. We can recognize that we made a great big mistake. And I don't know how we're going to rectify that mistake. I don't know what we're supposed to do when it comes time to help an ally or when it comes time to help an impoverished nation. I don't know what we should have done. And I don't know what we should do about all of the cases of anti-vaxxers and anti-masks that we have in this country. Because it doesn't seem like we can be reasonable people when they have leaders in those states that are unreasonable, that just refuse on some basic idiotic philosophy that they can't mandate a mask wear. So I don't know. I don't know how we're going to get out of this mess, and I don't see any relief in sight, and that's bothering me. And I'm looking out at the sunshine, and I know I'm basically trapped again. It's not that we can't go out somewhere, but if we go out, we run the risk of meeting people who might infect us or whatever. It's horrible to live this cautious way for as long as we've been doing it. And so this has been an ugly, ugly week in my mind. And I think I better stop ranting at this point because it's not a happy rant. It's not anything amusing going on. It's a reflection of the troubles that we've had in this country and in the world. And maybe now it's reached its peak, I hope, and that things will get better soon. So I leave you with that this morning, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.